Hi dear friends, in this video we are going to see this packet tracer activity investigating the TCP-IP and OSI models in action. Here we can see our objectives: examine HTTP web traffic, then display elements of the TCP-IP protocol suite. Here we are going to understand the TCP-IP protocol suite using simulation mode. Okay, we will come to part 1, examine HTTP web traffic. In part 1 of this activity, we will use packet tracer simulation mode to generate web traffic and examine HTTP. First of all, switch from real-time to simulation mode. In the lower right corner of the packet tracer interface are tabs to toggle between real-time and simulation mode. Yes, here we can see that real-time and simulation. Packet tracer always starts in a real-time mode, in which networking protocols operate with realistic timings. However, a powerful feature of packet tracer allows the user to stop time by switching to simulation mode. In simulation mode, packets are displayed as animated envelopes. Time is event-driven, and the user can step through networking events. Okay, these are all some informations we will come to. Click the simulation mode icon to switch from real-time mode to simulation mode. Here we can see that we will click to simulation mode. Coming to B, select HTTP from the event list filters. HTTP may already be the only visible event. Click edit filters to display the available visible events. Toggle the show all bar none checkbox and notice how the checkboxes switch from unchecked to checked or checked to unchecked depending on the current state. Here show all or none checkbox until all boxes are cleared, and then select HTTP. Click anywhere outside of the edit filters box to hide it. The visible events should now only display HTTP. Okay, we will see that. Here we can see in this event list filters, visible events is HTTP. So what we can do, this is the protocol what we required here. Otherwise, if it is not showing here, we can click on this show all bar none, and here we can see now it shows none. Now we can go to edit filters and coming to this option, and here we can see HTTP. And here we can see that protocol. Coming to the second step, generate web HTTP traffic. Currently the simulation panel is empty. There are 6 columns listed across the top of the event list within the simulation panel. Here we can see our simulation panel and event list. VIS, time, last device, add device, type. Okay, as traffic is generated and step through, events appear in the list. The info column is used to inspect the contents of a particular event. But here we cannot see that info column in this event list. Anyways, we will go ahead. They given a note here: the web server and the web client are displayed in the left pane. The panels can be adjusted in size by hovering next to the scroll bar and dragging left or right when the double-headed arrow appears. Here we can see that we can adjust it. Coming to A, click web client in the far left pane. Click the desktop tab and click the web browser icon to open it. In the URL field, enter www.osi.local and click go. Okay, we will do that. We will scroll here, and here we can see our web client. We will click on this web client and coming to desktop, and here we can see web browser. And here in this URL we are going to give as specified www.osi.local and press go. Because time in simulation mode is event driven, you must use the capture or forward button to display network events. Click capture or forward 4 times. There should be 4 events in the event list. Look at the web client web browser page. Did anything change? We will check it. Now we will press capture or forward 4 times. So here we can see that button. And here in this web browser we can see we got the web page. Web server, you have successfully accessed the home page for web server. Now we will go to the next step. Explore the contents of the HTTP packets. Click the first colored square box under the event list info column. It may be necessary to expand the simulation panel or use the scroll bar directly below the event list. We will click on this colored square box under this event list, and here we can see the column. It shows type, so but here they mentioned info, no props. So we will click on this colored square box, and here we can see the PDO information at device web client. The PDO information at device web client window displays. Yes, here it is. In this window there are only 2 tabs, OSI model and outbound PDO details. Here we can see those 2 tabs, OSI model and outbound PDO details. Because this is the start of the transmission, as more events are examined, there will be 3 tabs displayed, adding a tab for inbound PDO details. When an event is the last event in the stream of traffic, only the OSI model and inbound PDO details tabs are displayed. Okay, coming to B, ensure that the OSI model tab is selected. Under the out layers column, ensure that the layer 7 box is highlighted. Here we can see we are in OSI model, and on out layers we are on this layer 7. What is the text displayed next to the layer 7 label? Here we can see after this layer 7 it does not show anything here. Actually it should show HTTP. Anyways, coming to the next question, what information is listed in the numbered steps directly below the in layers and out layers boxes? So here in layers, out layers, and here we can see the information with numbering. 1. The HTTP client sends a HTTP request to the server. So here we can see it's a HTTP request. Coming to C, click next layer. Layer 4 should be highlighted. What is the destination port value? Coming to our PDO information, here we can see layer 4. TCP source port 1025, and here we can see destination port 80. So the destination port is 80. Coming to D, click next layer, that is layer 3. Layer 3 should be highlighted. What is the destination IP value? Okay, here we can see that layer 3 IP header. Here we can see source IP. They asked for destination IP. Here we can see that 192.168.1.254. Now coming to E, click next layer. What information is displayed at this layer? Coming to the next layer, that is a layer 2. Here we can see it shows Ethernet 2, and we can see the source and destination MAC address. Coming to F, click the outbound PDO details tab. Here is that. Information listed under the PDO details is reflective of the layers within the TCP-IP model. Also, they given a note here. The information listed under the Ethernet 2 section provides even more detailed information than is listed under layer 2 on the OSI model tab. The outbound PDO details provides a more descriptive and detailed information. The values under destination MAC and source MAC within the Ethernet 2 section of the PDO details appear on the OSI model tab under layer 2, but are not identified as such. It's correct, and here we can see the details under this Ethernet 2 destination MAC address and the source MAC address. What is the common information listed under the IP section of PDO details as compared to the information listed under the OSI model tab? With which layer is it associated? Coming to OSI model, here we can see in this layer 3, here it shows source IP address and destination IP address. Here also we can see the common information, source IP address and the destination IP address. Next is what is the common information listed under the TCP section of PDO details as compared to the information listed under the OSI model tab, and with which layer is it associated? So coming to OSI model, and here we can see layer 4. Here it shows a TCP source port and a destination port. And coming to outbound PDO details, we can see the common information, source port and destination port. Next is what is the host listed under the HTTP section of the PDO details? What layer would this information be associated with under the OSI model tab? So we will see this host listed under this HTTP. Here we can see HTTP, and we will search for the host, and here we can see it's www.osi.local. Now coming to OSI model, and here we can see it's associated with layer 7. Here we can see that. Coming to G, click the next colored square box under the event list info column. Only layer 1 is active, not grayed out. The device is moving the frame from the buffer and placing it on the network. We will close this PDO information, and coming to the next colored square box, and here we can see the PDO information, and here we can see only layer 1 is active. Coming to H, advance to the next HTTP info box within the event list and click the colored square box. This window contains both in layers and out layers. We will see that. Notice the direction of the arrow directly under the in layers column. It is pointing upward, indicating the direction the information is traveling. Scroll through these layers, making note of the items previously viewed. At the top of the column, the arrow points to the right. This denotes that the server is now sending the information back to the client. We will close this PDO information, and we will go to the next one. And here we can see OSI model, inbound PDO details and outbound PDO details. And here we can see under this in layers, this arrow is pointing upwards. And here we can see in these out layers, the arrow is pointing downwards. Also we can see at the top of the column, this arrow points to the right. Here we can see that. Comparing the information displayed in the in layers column with that of the out layers column, what are the major differences? Coming to PDO information, here we can see layer 4. Here TCP source port is 1025. Here it's a destination port, and we can see destination port here it is 80, and here it is source port is 80. So it's just swapped between this source and destination port number. Coming to the other layers, so here we can see in this layer 3, the source and destination IP addresses are swapped. Also here we can see in this layer 2, MAC addresses are also swapped. Coming to I, click the outbound PDO details tab. Scroll down to the HTTP section. What is the first line in the HTTP message that displays? So coming to outbound PDO details, and here is HTTP. Here we can see it shows HTTP data connection close. Now coming to J, click the last colored square box under the info column. How many tabs are displayed with this event and to why? Okay, so we will close this PDU information and coming to the fourth colored square box. Here is that. And here we can see total 2 tabs, OSI model and inbound PDO details. Obviously because it's a receiving device. Now it's time to move to part 2, display elements of the TCP-IP protocol suite. In part 2 of this activity, we will use the packet tracer simulation mode to view and examine some of the other protocols comprising of the TCP-IP suite. Coming to step 1, view additional events. Close any open PDU information windows. Okay, we will close this PDU information window. Then in the event list, filters, visible event section, click show all. Coming to our simulation panel, here we can see show all. We will click on this. So now here we can see it shows none. We will click again, show all. What additional event types are displayed? So here we can see many event list: ARP, BGP, Bluetooth, DHCP, DNS, EIGRP, HTTPS, ICMP, etc., etc. These extra entries play various roles within the TCP/IP suite. If the address resolution protocol, that is ARP, is listed, yes, it's listed, we have seen that. It searches MAC addresses. DNS is responsible for converting a name, for example, www.osi.local, to an IP address. The additional TCP events are responsible for connecting, agreeing on communication parameters, and disconnecting the communication sessions between the devices. These protocols have been mentioned previously and will be further discussed as the course progresses. Currently, there are over 35 possible protocols, event types available for capture within packet tracer. But here we can see more than 35 protocols in this visible events. Okay. Coming to C, click the first DNS event in the info column. Explore the OSI model and PDO details tabs and note the encapsulation process. As you look at the OSI model tab with layer 7 highlighted, a description of what is occurring is listed directly below the inlayers and outlayers. The DNS client sends a DNS query to the DNS server. This is very useful information to help understand what is occurring during the communication process. So coming to our event list, here we can see DNS. We will click on this, and here we can see OSI model, and here we can see layer 7. It's DNS, so we will highlight it, and here we can see the description. The DNS client sends a DNS query to the DNS server. Coming to D, click the Outbound PDO Details tab. What information is listed in the name, the DNS query section? Coming to our PDO information, here we can see Outbound PDO Details. So we will click on this tab, and we will come to this DNS query. Here we can see that, and here we can see name. It's given www.osi.local. Now coming to E, click the last DNS info colored square box in the event list. Which device is displayed? We will close this window, and here we will search for the last DNS. Here we can see that. In this window itself, we can see the device. It's a web client. What is the value listed next to address in the DNS answer section of the inbound PDO details? So we will come to inbound PDO details. And here we can see DNS answer, and here we can see the IP address given, 192.168.1.254. So this IP address is the IP address of our web server. Coming to F, find the first HTTP event in the list and click the colored square box of the TCP event immediately following this event. Highlight layer 4 in the OSI model tab. In the numbered list directly below the inlayers and outlayers, what is the information displayed under items 4 and 5? Okay, we will come to our event list and we will search for HTTP. Here we can see the first HTTP. Just after this HTTP, here we can see this TCP. We will click on this TCP, and here we can see the window. So we will highlight on this layer 4. Yes, it's layer 4. And here we can see what is the information displayed under items 4 and 5. Here we can see that 4 and 5, the TCP connection is successful. Then in 5th, the device sets the connection state to established. So a TCP manages the connecting and disconnecting of the communications channel along with other responsibilities. This particular event shows that the communication channel has been established. Okay, now we will come to G. Click the last TCP event. Highlight layer 4 in the OSI model tab. Examine the steps listed directly below inlayers and outlayers. What is the purpose of this event based on the information provided in the last item in the list? Should be item 4. Okay. We will close this PDO information and we will search for the last TCP event in this event list. Here we can see the last TCP. We will click on this. Here we will highlight this layer 4. Here the 4th item, it says the TCP connection is successful, or the last one we can see the device sets the connection state to established. Okay, here they given some challenge. We will go through that. The simulation provided an example of a web session between a client and a server on a local area network, that is LAN. The client makes requests to specific services running on the server. So the server must be set up to listen on specific ports for a client request. Look at layer 4 in the OSI model tab for port information. Yes, so here we can see that the port information. Coming to the PDO information and coming to layer 4, and here we can see a destination port is 80. Okay, based on the information that was inspected during the packet tracer capture, what port number is the web server listening on for the web request? Yes, it's port number 80. And what port is the web server listening on for a DNS request? Okay, we will come to DNS. Here we can see it's 53 destination port. It's 53. Okay, we almost completed this packet tracer activity, that is investigating the TCP-IP and OSI models in action. So dear friends, consider subscribing, stay tuned, and we will meet again with the next video. Thank you.